Hello, good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon,
Good
Doc.
afternoon, madam.
Please, how are you all doing? You and your family. I'm asking because of the flood, the incident that happened last week. I hope none of you was affected.
Madam, please, we were, but we are managing.
Oh, too bad. We are managing. We thank God for our lives. At least we have lives, so that is more beautiful than whatever we might have lost, even though it's not tasteful at all. Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
madam. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right, so quickly, let's look at our third lesson as we have planned it. Next week, God willing, we are praying that whatever happened last weekend will not happen again, though we are expecting that it will rain. It shouldn't, cause that kind of havoc. So next week, God willing, is free for you. And then the following week, we are looking at the presentation, online presentation, both from the HRM class and then the procurement class. But that week, I'm talking about next 2 weeks that we have the presentation. I'm going to be engaged and I don't know how I'm going to handle it. So I was thinking if you can pardon me, instead of your free time next week, let's do the presentation and that following week will be free for you. What do you think? I will leave it with the class reps. Kindly discuss with the class and let's see. But if it cannot happen, then I don't know. So this one I'm pleading with you. Other than that, the following week, the third week from now, we've planned that you will take your midterm exam. So if we are not able to meet that week, which we have already planned to have our presentation, then we will use the following week to do the presentation. It wouldn't be too much to ask, right? And then you will take the exams. As for the exams, it will be open from 6 a.m. and then it will close at 11:40 or 11:30 in the night. So you only need 20 minutes to take the medicine. So the class rep, we will discuss it further from here. But today we want to look at our third lesson, which is on African traditional
Okay.
festival. Please, do you have any question, any problem with what we have discussed so far? We've looked at culture and development, and then we also look at the African moral values last week, and today we want to look at African traditional festival. Actually, we are looking at 6 topics in all. So today marks the middle or the middle of what we are doing. That's why we will have our medicine taken. And the midterm will be only, you answer questions only on these 3 lessons that we have discussed. Only that. But I will plead with you to sit well, meaning that study well so that you'll be able to do well in the midterm. At least 18 over 20 wouldn't be bad. And at most 20 over 20 will be great. Then we'll be left with the presentation and then the final exams. But any questions so far? Okay, so I want to start. We are looking at African traditional festival, and what comes to mind? Why are we looking at these, topics? African that. We are in the modern era, okay? It's being displayed everywhere. Internet, social media. Why are we talking about festival? Why? Why do we even have to look at it? Like I shared last week, I said that the first topic happens to be the foundation of all that we are going to discuss further. And so the last week discussion, which borders on moral values, you realize that it's one of the elements of our culture and all other practices that we are going to talk about. So this festival we are going to talk about is also part of and one of the elements. Only that this aspect, this element, looking at it wholesome, as a wholesome thing, you can have other elements playing their roles because the festival itself is an element which we can categorize it as what non-material. But then if you go into it deeply, you realize that we still have material elements and other non-material elements because during the festival celebration, you see people dress in their African attire. That is where they serve their native foods. That is where you see them, play their music, the instrument that they will even use. Okay, if it is drum, if it is xylophone and all kinds of, instrument. And those instruments, because they are tangible, they are part of all the material elements. So that's why the discussion on the characteristics of festival, we said that they are integrated. Sometimes other elements, come together for us to get the event. Okay, so festival is one of the popular cultures that Africans also what celebrate. And in a modern era, we cannot say that it is misplaced. No, it is so useful in our days. What we want to look at is how we develop it, the culture and development, that concept that we discussed. How do we develop our festival? Because it is part of our culture and we cannot do away with it. But then moving forward or going forward, how do we bring in all the technology and all the other factors? Okay, so that we can see improvement. And at the end of the day, we will what? We will benefit from that celebration. So that is what we want to look at. So by the end of this session, it is expected that students will be able to discuss the definition and describe it. At least you need to understand what a festival is, how you are able to categorize them into three major groupings and then analyze the component activities and delineate their social consequences or the needs they serve among the participants. And the last one, you should be able to analyze the economic, political, the religious, the social benefits the celebration of festivals brings to the people and their community as a whole. So a case study is a town, we have this small town that lacks social amenities. They don't have health center, they don't have educational center, they don't have potable water, they don't have good roads. All they have is what they have inherited, which is their culture, and that aspect of their culture is festival. How do we ensure those people living in that place, how can they use what they have, the festival they have, to get their needs met? To get health center. Is it possible? That's a case study. Is it possible for those people to just concentrate on the festival that they have and then they are able to get their social amenities? Yes, it is possible because if they are able to create more awareness about the festival using the social media, of course, though they don't have good rules and all that, I'm thinking yes, that the people there also use mobile phone, they use in social media. Or someone from that town living in Accra urban center has access to the social media or the internet. So if their festival, one of these people is able to capture it and then sell it on the internet, okay, then creating awareness, it will attract people who are even from that town and they have traveled abroad and some are doing well and they want to come and help because the person who is trying to create awareness about festival, okay, in that small village is able to add that, well, okay, we lack social amenities. So this celebration is focusing on what? Generating funds or soliciting for support to help put up social amenities like the school, like the health center, and of course, if they are lucky, they will get people to come and help them. And as well as people get to know about the festival and they troop to the place, they decide they want to be part of the celebration, then of course, along the line, they will be able to develop their rules and get the needs. So it is possible. That is why we don't look at it as a misplaced practice, but then we want to still look at it and then find space for it, even in this modern age. So, African popular culture covers African cultural activities in which relatively large numbers of people in Africa are involved in one way or the other. So, we have our popular cultures, okay, but they are all elements of or aspects of our culture. So those practices, it can be the practice of what? Mysteries and magicians displaying their own thing. It can be an activity where we are celebrating the dead. Funeral. It can be an activity where we are celebrating the newborn. Outdooring. It can be an activity where two people are coming together to form a union, to marry. So it can be marriage. So these are popular cultures that we always, uh, celebrate in most part of African continent. African celebration is an example of these popular cultures that I've mentioned, which is open to a large number of what? Heterogeneous people, meaning that people from different backgrounds, from with different beliefs are, invited, or they are accepted to be part of the celebration. For instance, so festival, though the one who is, you know, celebrating it, the town that is celebrating the festival, it is not automatically that all the people who hail from the town will be part of the celebration. But people from different walks of life can still go and be part of that celebration. That's why we are saying that it is open to a large number of heterogeneous people. But there are other practices, okay, which are also a part of our popular cultures. But those ones are not open to large number of people. For instance, the practice of African magic or divination, it is not open to large number of people because it is esoteric or it is mysterious and restricted to few experts. In the case where you have the magicians, the priests, and those priestesses displaying their magics and all that, those ones are not normally or popularly open to large group of people. But the other ones like festival, like funeral, like marriage, celebration, like the installation of chiefs, the instrument of chief, celebration of festival, dance festival, or music or drama. These are open to large number of people, no matter their background, their language, or their belief. That's why some people have made themselves contractors, right? All they do is they dress well during weekend and then they look for expensive funerals to attend. Maybe sometimes they don't even know anybody, any family member. And they are not, you can't, turn them down. Looking at how they have shaded, they've dressed, okay, classy, and they go to these, they attend these celebrations for their own reasons. Some go into just to look for their better house spouses and partners. Some even go in for business partners and so on and so forth. The reason being that that popular culture is open to what large number of people without any, restriction. In Okay, so I've mentioned other examples of popular cultural activities are funeral celebrations and the rest. In the African context, there are two fundamental reasons why a large number of people are involved in these cultural practices. One is that the activities are custom and practice, not restricted to a few people, but open to all who wish to attend. So that's the reason people will attend funerals, even though they don't even know any member. No, they don't know any relative, yet they still want to attend that funeral because they've heard that that funeral is expensive one. The burghers and the classy people will be coming, so people will deliberately want to be part. And per our custom and our practice, it is not restricted to few people, but open to all. And then again, these practices, they do not impose any severe demands on the participants about the background knowledge. So you don't even need any background knowledge about what that festival. You still, if you want to attend, you attend. But in this modern time, people organize their festival, especially if it is that expensive and classy one that you can talk about. They give invitations, especially after everything is done, and then they want to sit and then celebrate, have the proper celebration where they will share food and all that. If there is a lunch or dinner or something, then that one, some people try to give invitations because people now know that others will just want to come in, eat your food, and then take some to their homes. And if you haven't, carefully planned it, your guests, those people who are really your guests, truly your guests, you will not even be able to get food to serve them. So now people are also, trying to restrict others, even though per custom, it is not to be restricted. How do we define festivals? So festivals are ceremonies that serve as a means by which African ethnic groups or tribes or the people appease their creator, their gods, and then ancestral spirits of their dead rulers by giving them offerings and thanks for both past and future sustenance. They are seasonal and elaborate ceremonies involving rites of purification,
Ma-
drumming, dancing,
Madam, please,
singing.
your line went off a bit though, when you were defining uh when you were defining the festival, please.
Okay, so thank you for drawing my attention. My internet is still on strong. I don't know. Anyway, so is it fine now? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so I was saying that I was even reading what is here that festivals are ceremonies that serve as means by which African ethnic groups, people come together just to appease their creator, meaning the God Almighty, and then appease the smaller gods, the ancestral spirits. Okay, and these celebrations are seasonal. It is done is based on in seasons, and it is elaborate. We deliberately, plan it well, where we have the rites of purification, drumming, we have dancing, singing, and recital of tribal. So these activities are all planned to be part of the celebration, but the main motive is what to appease the gods, okay, to thank them. Okay, so the last point says that African traditional festivals are propitiatory, sacrificial, and congratulatory ceremonies by means of which Africans acknowledge the blessings and protections they have received from the gods, manifested in good health, good harvest, and abundance of our children. So, per our custom and then our values. I told you last week that gratitude is one of the values that we hold on dearly to. Ungrateful people in African society are either seen as what? Ungrateful, or they are seen as not courteous. That's why I say courtesy demands that people try to be what? Show gratitude for kindness that they receive or any gesture that they receive. And so for African people, Africans, they believe that in time past, I told you they were not living in the scientific world. And so for them to even, uh, you know, get good rain, good harvest, for men to be potent enough to impregnate women and for women to be fertile to bring forth children, they consider those things as what? Blessings. And for them, those blessings are associated with what? The supernatural, the works of the supernatural. They believe that if one is able to live an upright life, good moral life, then the automatic thing is you receive these kinds of blessings. That's why in our society, if someone is not able to conceive to bring birth, and then people will start asking, go for consultation, probably you've done evil or something. They believe that once you live your life accordingly per the societal norms, you are to receive blessings. And once the society also respects nature and they are doing the needful, those blessings will be received. And those blessings are coming from where? God, the creator, and other smaller gods. So in order for them to show gratitude, which is a cherished value, okay, social value, societal value, they will want to occasionally come together and celebrate. The celebration is to thank their creator. The celebration is to show their appreciation. The celebration is not only to bring the members in the society together, but then it borders on what? Showing gratitude to their maker. It's just like those of us who are Christians now, and at the end of the year, you want to, those who never attended church service, 31st, they want to attend church service just to what? Thank God and then ask for more protection. Same applies to Africans because there wasn't any kind of religion than their own religion. And per their religion, they believe in God, the creator, and other smaller gods. And so whatever happens to them, they will try to associate it to the supernatural and therefore the celebration. So the celebration brings them together to show their appreciation, their gratitude to their creator. According to Bame KN, Bame says that African festivals can be classified into harvest festival, commemorative, and then festival for the gods. So in fact, we have numerous of them. Even in Ghana, if you want to talk about the festivals we have here, we have the Ojura Festival, Boahemaa Festival, Homowo Festival, the Hogbechocho Festival, Damba Festival. We have a lot more. If you travel outside Ghana, other African countries, they also have different festivals that they celebrate. But Bami has helped us to categorize these festivals into three major groupings, saying that we have the Harvest Festival, the commemorative, and the Festival for the Gods. And he went on to say that these types are not mutually exclusive, they are interrelated. So, though you want to classify your festival under the harvest, okay, you will see some elements of the commemorative festival playing role. So, they are interrelated and they look alike. They are not mutually exclusive. That's what it means. But if you look at the major activities and the reason behind the celebration, then you are able to classify it into any of these groupings. So what are the harvest festivals? These are festivals associated with the primary agricultural occupation and harvest, during which the participating members of a community sacrifice part of their first produce. It can be, so if they are yam farmers, maize, that's what they grow and they harvest. Then during the season where they harvest those crops, they will want to have the celebration first. Okay, in order to show their appreciation. So a festival where people say that, oh, it is yam festival, it is fishing festival, it is social and so festival. That festival is celebrated because of their agricultural occupation, because that has been the oldest occupation that they have lived with. And that occupation, the agricultural business, you need rain. Okay, you need to get bumper harvest and so on and so forth. How do we get this? It is only God who helps us to get the rain. And therefore, why don't we show our appreciation when we are able to have a bumper harvest? Even if we are not able to have a bumper harvest, once it is the season where we have harvested those crops, then there is the need for us to have this celebration with the aim of what? Thanking the Creator, our God. Okay, so in the case where they were not able to have bumper harvest, then they want to consult the do that consultation, asking for the reasons why they did not get enough rain and so forth through the traditional priest. And so the traditional priest may even want to say that, okay, because you're cutting down trees and the blah blah blah, the climate change, that has caused climate change. That is why you were not able to get rain during the season when you were expecting it. And that is the reason why you were not able to, harvest more. Then going forward, what do? It means the gods are angry. You need to appease to the gods. So do A, B, C, D. And then moving forward, you will get enough rain. So that was how they were doing their things. And so a festival that is associated with the agricultural occupation of the people is classified as a harvest festival. The motives behind this festival are to honor and thank gods, and ancestral spirits for the good harvest and the abundant rain, and ask for help or protection. The other motive behind this is to provide ritual clearance for traditional rulers and their people to eat of the new crop. So here they do this to show their reverence. Okay, before they are able to eat the first crop, they are able to sell it in the market. They want to first introduce it to their gods, showing their appreciation, and then they will do their ritual clearance so that they can go ahead. And it's still happening in our days. I remember when the New Year, that was last year, I wanted the New Year, I wanted to taste it, and someone I sent to Makola, hey, Abublushi, yeah, he said, oh, they haven't brought the yam to the city, so why? Because those places that they harvest the yam are saying that they haven't performed their rituals and all that. They don't disregard those things. So they will do that just to provide ritual clearance for the traditional rulers and their people to eat of the new. It shows their reference to their creator. And then the other motive is to also celebrate. They celebrate that festival so that they will be able to exhibit the new produce to others. So when they have the celebration, then they will introduce the new produce. If it is yam or maize or fish or whatever, they will introduce it to the market. Other than that, they will not do it. Examples of harvest festivals include the Homowo, as we celebrate it in Ghana, and then the Apo Yam Festival is held in Ghana by the Bruno people, the Sojo Festival by Tanzanians, the Agungu Fishing Festival by the Sokoto people in Nigeria, and then, yeah, so these are a few of the examples. We have a lot more. So you will look at your festival and then you look at the motive behind that celebration for you to be able to classify it under any of these. The second type that Bame talks about is the commemorative festival. And these are festivals to remember and honor the memory of the dead and give offerings to the gods and ancestral spirits for their care, their well-being, and the protection towards the community members. So this is where the people have their own history. Okay, so something happened to them, and then some heroes, some people among them, led them out of that trouble. And to remember such brave people, they want to do that to remember them, to honor those dead, okay, dead heroes. And not only doing that to remember the dead, but they also do that so that they can still show their appreciation and their gratitude to their maker and the other smaller gods for all the good things that have happened to them as people. Okay, so they do this so that that community festival is performed so that the upcoming ones will hear about the tribal history, the history behind that celebration, and then they will have that spirit of belonging and that spirit of what? Nationalism, patriotism. They tell you and you feel a sense of belonging that, oh, for instance, the Wk3 festival, some of them celebrate it. It's celebrated as a Yam festival. Others also celebrate it to remember the dead. Others even celebrate to bring the two together. Okay, so they do that to remember the dead. The Awes have a history where they were under the captive of a very wicked king called King Agokoli. If you are aware and you don't know this history, you'll be punished. Okay, so as the people were under the captive of this wicked king, some of their leaders were wise enough to inform, especially the women, that, okay, so we are confined in this place, and this is the wall, giant, strong wall, which we cannot escape. But what we can do is, whenever you perform the house shows, kindly pour the water on the walls of those walls so that gradually it will soften it and it will break. And that was how they were able to escape from that. And so the people, their leaders at that time, who were bold and were able to lead them, occasionally they will have that celebration and then they will want to remember them. And then they will recite the history, okay, to educate the young ones for them to feel that sense, have that sense of belongingness, and become patriotic that you ought to fight for your people, like Kwame Nkrumah and the nationalist group did for Ghana, for us to. So they are heroes. So celebrating Kwame Nkrumah is what a commemorative festival, just to tell the younger ones that you can also do same for your people. The primary central focus of this festival is characterized by a lot of activities. Like I said earlier, the festival is seasonal and it is an elaborate ceremony. So you have other activities, exciting activities, including the music, the dance, drama, and this one, recital of tribal history, because they want the new ones or the young ones to uh, be preview to what's happened and the reason they are celebrating. Example, we have the Obuchocho, the Ujra Festival celebration part of Ghana, a lot more. Like I said, if you look at how it is celebrated, what goes into it, and the motive behind it, and even how they name it, it will give you a clue, an idea of what that type of festival is. The last one is the Festival for the Gods, and these are special festivals which are celebrated annually in honor of specific gods and ancestral spirits by a group of people. Okay, so this one is a special festival where the people can decide to have their harvest festival or commemorative festival, but along the line or in course of the year, they still want to have that special festival. Why? Because they just want to, honor some specific gods. Why would they do that? I always tell my class that the COVID that, happened in Ghana, in the world, and in Ghana somewhere in March 2020, if it's happened in the olden days, like not living in the scientific world now, because we are in the scientific world, we live in the scientific age, technological age, where researchers were able to do their own research and they came out telling us it was caused by a virus called so, and then the protocols to, help us not to find ourselves in that danger. If it happened in time past, for them, they will only, no scientific instrument will be used, no hypothesis to assume that A happened and B was added and that was the result. No. The only thing they would have done was to consult their boss. And of course, when it happened, we did the same, right? Even though the researchers were doing their own thing, others were also doing their own thing. Those who believe in God were praying national days set aside for prayer and fasting. We brought in the belief. It means that we are still Africans, only that the religion has changed our idea of who to worship and that. And now we have new religion. The Muslims were doing their own thing, and then the traditionalists were also doing their own thing. But what I'm saying, stressing on, is that because they were not living in the scientific age, the only thing they could have done was to consult their gods. Okay. And then, of course, the gods will give them the description and the reason why that has happened, that it is caused by some virus. They wouldn't use any scientific instrument, but then they will be able to tell them that because you have neglected some of the small things you do, like your folk ways, your norms, tidy up your compound, practice personal hygiene. These simple things we're not doing. So that's the reason you are experiencing that calamity. Do you get it? And of course, it's because I was just looking at the protocols that were outlined for us to observe. That when you go out and you are coming in, wash your hands. These were the things growing up. They teach you if you go out and you are entering the room, you enter your house, you go to the washroom first, you wash your hands. Well, if you want to use public place, you don't use your hand to touch the what do we call it, the door handle, but you use your elbow to press it down. And these simple things, we couldn't meet those things. And therefore, the COVID, and people were dying like that. So if they consult their gods and then the gods were able to tell them it is due to A, B, C, D, that is why you have experienced this kind of calamity. What do we do then for them? Because they used herbs. Of course, they will tell them use a neem tree. And even in this scientific world, Africans and especially Ghanaians, that was the time we were advised to eat our local foods and then use her herbs. And the herbs, the use of the herbal medicines, became popular, you remember. Nti yɛte sɛ abosomfoɔ na kyerɛ yɛn sɛ go and use this herb. Go and use, they only direct the priest to go to the forest, do your rituals, and then they will show you a particular herb that you use. And once you get that herb, it will cure that ailment, that disease. So people were also resorting to that. And our natural spices, you remember, the cloves and the tiger, alligator nuts, and all those people were using it. Our dawa, those natural spices, what is it telling us? It tells us COVID. I thought we would learn a lot from COVID, which of course we learned, but after that we've forgotten about it. To eat our local foods and local herbs and our local, spices because those helped. And our local practices, our way of you see, how do you do it? You boil water and then you cover yourself. Okay, so that you inhale the vapor. These were the things that we used to do in time past. And our people will always be having their herbs. You go to the kitchen and they have the pots and they have their herbs and all that, and they will be drinking it early morning. So those days, if a man is even 70 years, 60 years, that man has 3 wives, 4 wives, bringing forth many children, 15, 30 children, and the man is still strong. At that old age, he still wants a young virgin. And he's still able to perform. Unlike in our days, 25 years, they even need boosters. To be able to perform in bed, and it is even destroying a lot of men kidneys. I have read that research. Kidney, go to Kolebu, and the research that came out from that research came out from Confanoche, I think. And they were saying because a lot of men are rather, having that disease, kidney disease, because of the aphrodisiacs that they've been using. Why would you use alcohol and all those kind of things just to perform? Eat your local foods, eat your natural, spices and herbs, and you'll be fine. So for them, if consulting a God the God is able to, help them with kind of direction, and they are able to come out of that trouble, they will set aside some particular days in course of the year to celebrate those specific gods. So COVID happened in 2020. So if it were in the olden days, then every year in March. So every year in March, we want to celebrate to, appreciate some specific gods. And when such celebrations are performed, then we describe them or categorize it under the festival for the gods. Example, Festival of Mass by the people of Ivory Coast and Harvest or Thanksgiving Festival of the Moshona of Malawi. The celebration of this festival involves merrymaking. In fact, all the celebrations, after they have done the needful, consulting their gods, thanking them, appeasing them, they end up making merry. So this one also involves merrymaking, and festivities is centered on the gods or the spirits. So that is where the magicians will also display their magics and all that for people to know that their gods have power. And it is true that they've been able to come out from that calamity. They've been able to have cure for that ailment. So they will display, those who will be putting fire, and then those who will be using gun, the one that I watched on social media recently, I think it was a festival, and a man was displaying using gun, ended up dead. One consultee, so the gun ended up. He wanted to show that even he will be able to survive, even if he's gang. But that one, it didn't happen. Probably the gods didn't listen to him. They didn't hear him. Anyway, so traditional leaders use the occasion to petition for their members' needs. And all that, when they finish showing their gratitude, cleansing the land, appeasing them, then they will also pray, asking for the needs of the members, the protection, blessings, and unity among their members. All right, so that is about the types of festival. I'll pause here. Any question before I move on? This one is very short, so we will finish early. Any question, any suggestion? All right. Then let's look at the structural components of the festival. So no matter the type of the festival, either it is a harvest festival or a festival for the gods or commemorative festival, okay? Either it is a poor festival, which is under the harvest festival, no matter the type. All these celebrations, the way they go about it, is composed into two. The first thing that the people who are celebrating the festival do is the religious aspect. And then they break it into two. So we have the religious component and then we have the recreational component. That is where the merrymaking, comes in. The religious aspect is where they mean business, because if you go through the types, all of them, no matter the reason for the celebration, the basic thing or the bottom line is that they want to thank their gods, show their appreciation. So once they set days aside or they plan to have the celebration, the first thing they do is the religious activities. And the religious activities comprise rites and rituals which are annual community cleansing ceremonies with the intention of appealing to God, the gods and the spirits for the group's well-being. The religious activities take place in special occasions, such as homes, schoolhouses, sacred groves, deep forests, shrines, and banks of rivers. It involves a selected group of people who are ascribed by virtue of their kinship ties, their rank, their office, or other predetermined factors. Okay, so today I went to church and we were not able to use drums and a microphone because there is ban on drumming and dancing. Why? Because there's going to be a celebration somewhere in August. Others also celebrate it in September, Homowo. So the religious activity has already started, and that is where they give those orders, because that is the time they need peace. They want the land to be as peaceful as the cemetery so that they can consult their gods, and then in consulting their gods, it's done by some selected group of people. So those who celebrate the festival, they have some family. There's a particular family, like they have families where they choose their kings and their queens, their leaders from royal family. The same way they have families um, who the families who do that, who help to perform those rituals, because it's not everyone who can do that. Someone who has what? Secluded himself or herself. The gods accept him. It is the God, the people chose him because the God directed those people to be chosen. And those people, a lot of things they go into a lot of things. If you are male, you deny sex for within that period. There are certain foods you will not eat, the way you would dress, you need to be as holy. So that you will be able to do the consultation, go to the gods, and then ask for the permission. We want to have a celebration. You have catered for us. You have protected us. We have received good rain, and so on and so forth. We want to show our appreciation. Do we have your approval? The gods probably will say no. Why? Can't we have the celebration? It's because the gods are angry. Why are they angry? The people have been so mischievous. Okay, they are so mischievous. The people are very wicked. The people have, soiled the land with innocent blood. Okay, like people have committed abortion, and those innocent babies are crying for justice in the spirit world. Or some people have been murdered. They are innocent, but they've been killed because others are greedy and they need money or they want to get wealth. Okay. Some are also not getting justice. Okay, the innocent ones, because they cannot pay the law bribe and so on and so forth. They cannot get justice. Others have been in prison because they were lied against. Injustice in the system, so the gods are not happy. So whenever they want to celebrate, it's not only to show appreciation, but also to ask for forgiveness, appease the gods. Because if the gods are angry, for Africans, they believe that the gods can strike the land, like the flood. They will say the gods are angry because the people have not done what is right, putting structures where it's not supposed to be put. People have taken bribe, and instead of seeing to it that people are doing the right thing, they give permission for people to do the wrong things. People are throwing rubbish here and there, choking their gutters. They are cutting down trees. And so, okay, so all those things will be counted. That's why the gods are angry. And there is rain, serious rain, and there is flood. But those of us in the scientific world, we will use scientific and research and book knowledge to explain it. But at the end of the day, we are not doing things right. Unlike those people who had no, idea in science and all that, but they were only observing to do what is right, giving respect to nature, doing the right thing. Everybody wakes up, tidying up his compound and surroundings. Another person doing the same. They come together sometimes to have the communal labor where they, choke gutters are this. Oh, come on. And we think our eyes are, our eyes are there. Yet look at what is happening to us. Book, pen, pen, and research and whatever. Look at what is happening to us. People were living in a scientific world, but they were able to do things right. Probably others will say that because we are populated, even if we are populated and we are doing things right, we shouldn't be going through this mess. So for them, they will explain it as what? Calamity. And as the Ga people are about to celebrate Omowo, they will do their consultation and the gods will still tell them that, yes, for people not to have observed nature and they have not done the right thing. That is why there's flood all over the place. What do we do? Then they will appease the gods for their anger to, to come down so that they don't strike again. And of course, not only the gods, but God, the creator himself, is also not happy with man and the way we are doing things. Hence, he says, I'll give you Noah's time. I'll give you 2 days rain. Hey, this weekend we are even lucky. I learned the meteo people said it was going to rain from Friday to Sunday. You can imagine what would have happened. Probably they have prayed to the gods. Christians are praying, Muslims are praying, so God has pardoned us, has shown us mercy. So that's what they do. The religious activity is where they consult the gods asking for mercy. Mercy. Yeah, so dang. We don't do things right. Okay. And these things these activities, the actual activity is not like they gather and then everyone is invited. That one is strictly, performed by a certain group of people, like I said, who are secluded. And they do this in special locations. So sometimes in a particular home, they call it stool house. They will do the ritual or two houses or some particular homes that the priest or whoever is assigned to perform that task will also perform it. Then sometimes sacred groves, sometimes deep in the forest, shrines and banks of rivers. And so during this time, those days, they will caution people not to be going out in the middle of the night. In our time, people still are adamant. But if people still go out in the middle of the night when these activities are going on, the possibility is that your head will be cut off because per the consultation and the request from their gods, it can happen that they are requesting for human sacrifice because the people have offended so much. The degree of the offense is immeasurable, and therefore, to appease them, you can't use goat or sheep or any animal, rather, but human being. So if it happens like that, and in our time, if you are the one who you know, has been assigned to do that, and you go and kill someone because the boss are asking for it, police will deal with you. So what they will do is they do it in secret. They will do it. What they do, someone asked me in my class, asked a question, why would they use human being? That is a sin. And that one is to serve as what? A lamp offering. One person has to die in order for the entire community or the entire nation to suffer. So that's the reason. Ọbaako de ne ti bɛgye na sacrificial lamb. And they don't look for people, any drunkard or anyone who is leading his life anyhow. They want a virgin, someone who is holy, who is virgin, someone who is, in fact, good person. Ọmọ pɛ adeɛ ɛyɛ. Anyway, so when all is done, so the band and drumming it means the religious activity is being performed, and a lot more go, into it. And when all is done, then the days that they have set for the actual celebration where the large number of people are invited to celebrate. Uh, Okay, so I'm sorry I was not disconnected. Actually, I had to do something small, so I'm back. All right. So when the religious activities have been handled by the right person or people, then they go ahead with the actual celebration. And that is where our attention is. Because that one is open to a large number of what people. And that is where we can get the benefits, derive the benefits, like the economic benefits, social benefits, and all the political benefits and all other benefits. That's what we are looking at. So the recreational component is an entertainment aspect that derives its success from public involvement and participation. So the success of that will be what derived from public involvement. In fact, not only festival, even funeral and other cultural, popular cultures like the funeral, engagement, wedding, marriage, outdooring. They all go through these two phases, the religious aspect and the recreational aspect. The only thing is that if the one who is getting married or the outdooring that is being performed or the funeral, if that the people are Christians, then the religious aspect is where they want to take the body to church and perform all the church activity. That's the religious aspect, okay? And then Osofo will pray if it's engagement, they bring in Osofo to come and pray, and all those things will be done. And then when they finish, the actual activity follows. If it is lunch or if it is supper or dinner, then we enjoy ourselves. That other aspect of enjoyment is what we call the recreational. And for it to be successful, we need a lot of people to be involved. For people to say that, oh, the funeral, a yeni buy pa, or the wedding. Oh, the wedding was beautiful. It was so successful. Why? Because a lot of people came. Ah, and these days that things are hard. If you go and call people, ask for the funeral, because if more people, attend, of course they will make some donations for you. And if you are lucky, you will gain. But if it is wedding and those kind of things, people will go for loan and they want to do those kind of things. In our time, in those days, if people are attending weddings, by all means, they will want to give something, go to the gift table. But these days, people will not give you penny. So why would you go for a loan to have that big time? Anyway, if you have the money and you want to do it, but the beauty of it and the success of it is where we have more people, participating. The same thing applies to the festival. They need more people because the drumming, the dramatization, the artistic display, okay, where the artists display their artwork, if more people troop to the place or attend, they will be buying. That's where the economic benefits can be derived. People will be buying, people will want places to sleep, okay, rooms to sleep, and so those who are into hotel business and all that will also, so the economic benefits are derived when we have a lot of people attending, and it becomes more exciting and more beautiful when you have a lot of people, okay, so there's drumming, there's dancing, and this is the aspect that in our modern time we want to focus our attention. How do we organize it well such that it will travel far? Even if you don't get people traveling to the place to be part of the celebration, we can still show it on other social media platforms, and then by that you create awareness, and creating awareness that, oh, the celebration is being, this year's celebration is looking at helping the people get health center. And then you give a story or a case where women in that place, women at that place, when they are about to go and deliver because they trek to another town, okay, a distance town, they are unable to even come home with their babies. And so this celebration is to solicit for funds. If you plan it carefully and you plan it well, then there will be some benefits that can be derived. And then when you have created awareness on social media, probably the first year that you had it wasn't successful, but because you used that videos and those pictures, and then you created awareness on social media, the subsequent ones, you will be successful, you see massive improvement. Like the Crow Festival, okay. So it was about the Crow, the radio people will be making noise here and there, and people agitated, what is it about Crow? And then people wanted to, be part, just to go. Someone will say, I just want to go and see what is really happening there. And once the people get there, by all means, they will hire places to sleep, they will buy food, they will be buying and selling will improve. Do you get it? And that is where the economic benefits can be derived. And then once they are also able to organize it, hyping it, okay, creating more awareness, inviting dignitaries. Imagine you've been able to invite an MP or a minister, and the person has honored your invitation, but your road was poor. But because he honored it, he saw that the road was poor. If you are lucky, that person, the politicians and their promises will promise that he will help you, construct your road. And if he honors his promise, you get your road constructed because of the celebration, because of the festival. Now it's getting more exciting where people are saying, oh, come, they call it what, coming home, come home or something. Homecoming, good. So the homecoming is also bringing new ideas, and not even during festivals, but even during Easter celebration and Christmas, people are now bringing this new thing on board, homecoming, such that even homecoming, we're receiving people from abroad. Ghana did homecoming. Was it, which year was that? When the CD was appreciating, the dollar was appreciating and the CD was depreciating. Then the strategy was homecoming, and people started coming home. And when they were coming, they came in with the dollars and other currencies, and you realize that there was stabilization. Instead of the city running fast, 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 and we even prayed and prayed, and we were not able to arrest it. The homecoming was able to, calm things down, calm waters down, and we saw at a point it wasn't running fast. So these are strategies that we can use to develop our communities. Once you say homecoming, this celebration, you name it, you tag it homecoming, and you start making noise on social media, and people will they will start to, they will come home, especially those who have lived in abroad and they are well to do. Hey, this is my town. They want to celebrate, and oh, homecoming, I want to see family members. So the social benefits can be derived because as they come home, they will meet other members, their old friends, business benefits. You meet some people that it will be hard for you to see them in their offices. But on the funeral grounds and these ones, it will be easy for you to speak to these business gurus and the rest. So a lot of benefits can be derived. It only needs to be planned very well and then hype it or create more awareness. So the benefits, I've started even talking about it. The benefits that can be derived from festival celebrations are discussed as follows. All Africans who celebrate their annual festival enter the new year with hope that their objectives will be achieved. So once they celebrate it, then they have the hope that they'll get protection and the following year or the coming year is going to be fruitful, successful, just like Christians will enter the new year, 31st, and then we are asked to go and pray, do half night or all night. Once we do that and we have prayed, we have the hope that the coming year will be successful. So for them, that Christmas celebration and all, they use their festival to do that. And by doing that, they have the hope that their objectives, which is what to be successful and to receive blessings, will be achieved. The results of group divinations of the festival rituals atone for their mistakes and ensure the well-being of the nation and individual members as a whole. So, like I said, during the religious activity, during that time where they perform the religious activity, the one who has been assigned to do that, like I said, will atone for the mistakes of the people, because per consultation, the gods will make it clear that the people have not been honoring us, they've not been respecting nature, they are not doing things right, they take bribes and then allow people to put structures where it's not supposed to be, positioned, and they are also not practicing hygiene. How can and sometimes it baffles me when driving around and you see someone in car will be addressing come on, he just throw away whatever he's, if he's drinking water, you see he throws it away. I mean, how? Throwing rubbish here and there. How can we do that? Not distilling our water, gutters and so on and so forth. Why? And what baffles me is that we are the people who think we are civilized because we speak Queen's language. We know how to read and write. We speak Brofwakese, so we think we are civilized. And people, you walk to certain places, residential place, and the whole place is so messed up, and they are waiting for Zoom Lion to come in. And Zoom Lion's contract has been what? Abrogated. So Zoom Lion is not there to take people's, cabbages and rubbish. And so when people have it piled up and they see that the clouds are dark, it's about to rain, they also just throw it into the water. What kind of people do we have in our time? Not doing the right thing. Yet they think their eyes are clear. They are more civilized. It's unfortunate. So when they consult their gods, the divinations and all that will help them to atone for the people's mistakes so that they will not receive any calamity or more trouble. There is a generation of group solidarity during festival celebration. So this is done through various elements, such as the custom of exchanging gifts during festival, because those who are outside the town coming homecoming before come back, and if you are even going home, by all means you want to buy certain things that you want to go and give to your relatives and give to friends and others. Even during the celebration itself, people cook and they share it with others. If the Ghana people are celebrating Homowo, even if you are not Ghana and you are not from that place, once you get to the place and they are eating pepuli or whatever food, they share it with all kinds of people. So there's this kind of exchanging of gifts, that custom, and it's so beautiful, okay? So this reliably strengthens the social bonds between givers and the recipients. Oh, when I was coming, I brought you this from city. By all means, when you are also leaving, the person will go to his farm and come with something and give it to you. So it strengthens that social bond, okay, among the givers and the recipient. But they had clear conscience. But in our time, if people will not even go and give, why they are afraid? Because if I give it, the person who is receiving it will use that against me. Hey, Sembeni. And then even if someone also wants to give something, people take it, and when they get to the urban center or cities, they will just throw it away, or they will also give it to the third person. We are suspecting ourselves, yes, suspecting will be, so that's sociable. Okay, so thereby strengthening, so there's this kind of social bond, they strengthen the social bond between the givers and the recipients, thereby strengthening group solidarity as a whole. Other benefits, uh, okay, so community festival, the one they celebrate to remember the dead and the rest, uh, remind the people of significant past events in their social life. Okay, so they share their history to remind themselves of what has happened. And the recital of the tradition of origin or the tribal histories that they share also generate feelings of oneness or belongingness among the new members, the young ones. Okay. And then the recital of tribal history also serve as incidental educational function that helps them to educate the young ones because they were relying on the oral tradition. So by reciting it during festivals, help them to educate the young ones about their history and their background and so on and so forth. Rites and rituals, which constitute the religious component, provide occasions during which the tribes collectively, by means of sacrifice and offerings, acknowledge their dependence on God. So it shows their reverence for God and for the other smaller gods, religious activity being performed. So when they perform the rites and the rituals, it constitutes the religious component of their reverence, the religious component that provide occasions during which they show their reverence to their creator. And so this reinforces and reaffirms their religious values that underline the African way of life. So that's religious activity. It's not barbaric. It is a way to show their reverence. The entertainment aspect, which is one is the entertainment aspect, the recreational aspect, where we have drumming and dancing and all that artistic display. Okay, also provide opportunities for collective renewal of the arts as a form of community experience or expressing groups' precision as well as developing artistic talents and potentials of the people. So when they set days for these celebrations, okay, entertainment aspect where people exhibit their products, kente, beats making, and all those things, it shows the talent that they have. And that is why we should be able to portray it, show it on the social media, because that alone can even bring investors. Showing the fugu or the batakari or the kente that we have, promoting it on the social media, like our president took the opportunity to showcase it elsewhere. You realize that people started. So it will, also create awareness Those who live in other urban centers will want to go and buy and bring it to the urban centers to sell. Those who are in abroad will want to send it abroad to go and sell. They will be buying and selling. And those arts people who are into that work, you help them to develop their lives. You help to even develop their potentials. Not only that, during the celebration, they also set days where there's social activities like games, okay, sorry, like games, football, playing football. And if this thing is captured and is shown on social media, probably that village boy who played very well will be captured, will be seen, okay, on social media by one of these giant companies or sports academics and will want to trace and come and then buy that boy. So the one who showed it on the social media will be the intermediary, will be a manager. Because they will be looking for that particular boy who played very well. So when it is carefully planned and then done, it can also show the talent that we have. Sometimes there's beauty competition, music competition, and all those activities should be, more activities should be what? Involved so that we are able to derive the benefits. Festival celebration also strengthens contemporary political rules. In a case where the people are able to invite political dignitaries, then you give them the platform to speak to the people. And if it happens that it is close to the time we are going to choose our leaders, then they will use the occasion to solicit for votes, while the people can also use the occasion to solicit for their support, like social amenities and the rest. So a lot of benefits can be derived. But then we will leave that aspect for the group three to the group three. Group three will be presenting on the benefits that can be derived from the celebration of festivals by looking at the social, political, and all that. Okay, so this is an activity, take-home activity, which I'm not going to ask you to bring to me, but if you can go through, that's fine. End of show. Thank you. Any question? So someone can use festival to create content.
Yes,
Where?
madam,
On TikTok, on other social media, and you get followers, and you benefit from out of that. Probably you want to look at 5 of the festivals that we celebrate in Ghana. What is a Homo for? Ghana people are celebrating Homo, then you with your camera, you do, or your phone, keke, go and capture it and then create a space for that. Create content for the festival. Well, as are doing that, you are helping us. You are helping the people who celebrate. You are helping the community. You are helping yourself because you also benefit. It is time for us to use what we have to celebrate what we have. Sorry, to share what we have. What we have is our African culture. Let's use the social media and this technology. Like I shared earlier, though they can be bad masters, they can also be good masters. It depends on how we use it. So if in this instance we are using the technology, then we are using it well, to benefit ourselves because it will help us to develop the place. The benefits are there. If celebration, you'll be able to attract tourists, we'll be able to attract investors and a lot more. And our economy will boost because once we are able to attract tourists and investors, of course, whatever they'll be buying and selling and all that will help us. All those things will help us. Any question?
yes, madam, a question, please.
Okay.
Um, please, do we have a particular ethnic group, specifically in Ghana here,
A
that
particular
cel
one.
ethnic group
Okay.
that celebrates their festival multiple times within the year, or they all celebrate annually? I want to know, please.
Oh, that one, senior. Any book, Munti, I wouldn't know. But what I know is for every group, they celebrate their festivals once. If it is Homowo, because they have different groupings, Okay, so some decide to celebrate Teshi, and I don't much about it. So some decide to celebrate it. It's still Homo, but they will celebrate it in August. Others will want to celebrate it probably in course of the year, once in a year. But I don't think they will celebrate it multiple times in a year. It has been an annual thing, so they do that. Like I said, if they have groupings, then one group may decide to choose a particular month in the year to do it. Another group. So if you're in Accra, you always hear, oh, they are celebrating Homo, and you say, but Homo, the Teshi people have celebrated their Homo. How come there's another Homo? It means another group or another sect is also celebrating theirs. Do you get it? But the
Okay.
Teshi people, I don't think the Ghana people I don't think the Teshi people will want to celebrate it 3 times in a year. It's an annual celebration. I've not I shared any book, Musa. I haven't read it. Where a
Okay.
celebration, a celebration is performed. For instance, the Apo Festival is celebrated by the people in the Broad region. So the Techiman people may decide to celebrate it in a particular month in the year, in that year, within that year. Then the Wenchi people or the Nkwanza, okay, so they will choose it, but not like the Techiman people will celebrate it in February and then they will at the same time they want to celebrate it in August or September or no, it's an annual celebration. Some even don't celebrate it annually because of the organization. So what they do is the traditional leader and the priest will still want to, consult the gods and appease them when if they have not been able to put structures in place. In places where there is arguments, and Tokantokwa, especially with regards to the leadership, the chieftaincy disputes. Some of them, for some years, there's a ban or they will be advised not to celebrate because anytime there's celebration, that it creates that kind of anarchy because there is this dispute, okay, chieftaincy dispute. So some may decide not to even celebrate it cry for about 5 years, depending on what is happening. But those who are okay, I think it is the annual thing they do. But if you're a leader, like you are the chief or the king or the queen, and you have not prepared enough to have the celebration, they do it in their own small way. But we advise that because we can derive a lot of benefits, they should do it frequently. Add new ideas, new things to it, like the now there is paragliding and all other activities. So the young ones should bring new ideas on board so that it wouldn't be that traditional like we see it, okay? But then there will be added values for us to uh, gain from what we do. Any other questions? Any other comments? Any other?
Madam, please, there is a question in the chat box.
Read it. Can you read it?
It says, is the trochocity system still exist?
Local system, so this one is a practice. It's like we have widowhood practice, we have what other practices? The FGM is a practice, an activity that is performed or a practice done by a particular group of people. But if they do they celebrate it after we have discussed it? Do they go about it like we have discussed, where they have the religious aspect and then there's set days where people come in to entertain themselves and all that? If it has, gone beyond that, for per my knowledge, it is a practice like we have widowhood practice, we have this practice that some group of people do. It is not an annual festival.
Thank
Any
you,
other?
madam.
Okay. Any
Hello,
other
madam.
question? Yes.
Yes. Good evening. All right. Please, thank you for the audience. You made mention of a fetish priest or someone that asked that if they shoot him with a gun, that it will not work. But at the end of the day, the bullet had effects on him. So, in that case, should we say technology is having effect on the power of God, as in taking people's attention in terms of the kind of focus and then consecration they need to give to themselves to walk in that particular power or something. And then secondly, when it comes to lifting of bands, I happen to serve under two bishops where during that season, one was using a speaker, like a Bluetooth speaker, a bigger one, during church service, and the people came and he had to pay some money to them. And then another bishop, for him, he said that today we are playing drums in the church. Whoever they are, wherever they are, they should come. But at the end of the day, nobody came because he knows that he has some big men in the church. Thank you.
So what is the question here? The earlier one, we said someone, and that one, it has the one who shot himself. He thought he has the power, but like I said, I don't know. This one, when it comes to superstition, there's no explanation to it. Technology has nothing to do with it. Probably the person has done it severally and he believed he was not shot. So this time, the gods left him. The power left. The gods who gave him the power left him. So that one there, I will not be able to explain, but I don't think technology has any role to play here because even with technology, some people have that believe and it works for them. That if, for instance, the armed robbers, sometimes the police will tell you that when they arrest them, they have some kind of juju things, beads under their waist, on their waist, and sometimes they have it as a wrist, thinking that the guy has gone for that juju thing, thinking that if he's shot, he will not die, or they will not even be able to arrest him because he will just vanish in the thin air. And sometimes it works for them, but one day, it leaves them and is not able, they are not able to be saved. So that one is superstition. For believe things, I can't explain it. And believe things, you can also use scientific technology or science to explain it. If someone says that is what I believe and it works for the person, technology cannot explain it. And then this pastor issue, that one, I didn't get the question. You were only saying someone asked them. The reason they do that and they go around harassing others, especially the churches and the rest, is that they believe that it is their practice and it has been with them since time infancy. And their belief is their belief. So the new thing, the churches and the new religions and all those sects came to meet them. It came and yes, we're already there. So they think they supersede whatever religion has what we are practicing, we have accepted in our days. Yes, should they own the land, and therefore everything must be put aside when it is time for them to have their celebration. Any other?
Please, thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Or if you have question in the chat box, probably you put question there and I've not been able to read it. You can read it out. Other than that, yes, we want to end here. I said next week is for your SSS synchronous. Okay, so where you have chance to do your self-study. But the following week, we are to meet and to have a presentation. But that week, I'm going to be engaged. So it's either I postpone it to the mid-same week, we will have the presentation, and after that, or people can decide to take their mid-same and then we meet in class 2 hours because the whole day will be given to you. What do you think? So two class reps, let me know by the end of the week, okay, or before that, so that I will know how to plan this.
Okay, please.
All right. So I'm not don't give me the feedback now. You take your time and then decide, and then I'll keep to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so enjoy the rest of your evening and then keep safe because of the flood. And we don't know
Yes.
if the rain will still hit us like it did last week. But whatever the case, let's keep safe. If there is the need for you to stay home, stay home. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We pray you are safe too.
All right. So bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you.